right, so thank you for staying tuned to the radio 4.7 FM. Of course, it's 16 minutes past 9 a.m. And of course, time for us to look at the nation and dissect developments in the politics and the governance of this very country. So I'm saying welcome to the Polity on the radio 104.7 FM. The Polity is our program on news and current affairs driven by headlines on national dailies. And I know that between when we were here on this platform yesterday and this very morning, a lot has happened in this very country, and of course we are ready to bring you all of them and then give you analysis maybe in the way you never imagined. And talk about development. Of course, we have seen reactions trailing the killings that happened in Okigwe. Of course, at the end of the day, the government of Imo State has finally spoken about 4 days after that very incident. So we have a reaction on that very one. And then talking about what happened yesterday at the PDP NEC meeting, where PDP made some decisions, maybe 4 of them. We are going to read them out and then get to bring you analysis. And there in Brazil, our president has signed a deal with Brazil that is going to enable Nigeria to have a direct flight from Nigeria to Brazil. And this Bayo Nanoga made a comment on X, or rather he issued a statement on X, and the way he slanted it has got the Igbos trending on X this very morning. So if you want to know all this, of course, we are here to bring you all these very conversations. My name is Franklin and Ebuka. Good morning. And I've got Chisom. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin. I did see the videos trailing what happened in Okigwe. And I must say that the problems we have as a people are gradually becoming hydra-headed. Because I don't see how you are not just a non-state actor. How do you come up in a public video to say that the boys you handed guns used it for what you told them not to use it for, to rob people, and so you killed them in the full glare of the public? What has happened to the power of the government that these people do these things feeling invincible? Before now, you don't have people showing their faces while doing these things. What has really become of our government that did really have no fear of the government anymore?
So that's the question, because the bravery is what we do not understand. What has given it that kind of bravery that people now brandish guns in the full glare of everybody and nobody winks or nobody blinks an eyelid? Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Franklin Ebuka. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Janambara. Good morning, John H.R. Donidu. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. It's always a pleasure to be here in our sanctuary. What do you have to hear? We be anything, nothing but the truth. But we're here to do justice as usual. You're welcome.
All right, so don't forget that we're always live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You can get to the page, drop your comments, and don't forget to share the video and also like that very page. Go to our YouTube channel and, of course, our Instagram handle, Udala Radio, and get interactive on this platform. So, of course, we have to look at the paper this very morning. We have 4 of them. Stay with us. So we have the Punch newspaper, Vanguard, This Day, and the Guardian newspapers. And we'll begin with the headlines we have on Punch. Banner headline says 2027 presidency marking the others to fight for PDP ticket. It's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. It has riders. Party zones 2027 ticket to South. Obi may consider PDP return, says Obedience. APC insists opposition will lose in 2027. These are the reactions trailing what happened yesterday at the NEC meeting of PDP. Then another headline we have, beside the nameplate, it says Osun Lagos lead as 1.3 million complete voter card pre-registration. The story is on page 3. And if you look at the distribution, the Southeast is down there as the list. And I keep on wondering, is it that we do not have interest, or that we feel Nigeria is now theirs and we have no stake? Another headline, 13% derivation fund eases oil producing state debt by 611 billion naira. It's on page 18. This story is talking about how more money coming to state have enabled some of the states who have been owing, to try to offset some of their domestic debts. NANS vows critical asset shutdown over ASU strike threat. It's on page 28. I don't know if any of us saw that very threat by ASU saying that they're going to embark on strike if the government fails to meet all those outstanding agreements they reach. I think it's from since 2020 or now thereabout that this agreement has lingered. and government has kept to implement them or fulfill them on incremental basis, but all of them have not been fulfilled. An age-long thing. And Nancy is saying, if the government fails to address this and ASU goes on strike, we are going to cripple all the national infrastructure, and all of us are going to go down on our knees. But they said something. They said, ASU, be mindful so that you don't weaponize strike as the only tool for you to get what you want. External reserves projected to hit $45 billion by year end. The story is on page 21. Of course, this has been increasing, but people have been asking questions. How does it affect the life of the common man? ECOWAS to raise $2.5 billion for 260,000 man counter-terrorism force. It's on front page of the Punch newspaper. Military retirees demand pay rise or pay raise. National honor is on page 30. Despite FG's promise, Ekiti Ondo federal roads still impassable. The story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Power generation stock at 5,500 megawatts as Bayelsa gets regulatory authorities on page 16, page 19. 5,500 megawatts. For many years we have existed as independent nation. This is where we are, and despite all the money we have sunk into this very sector, there's nothing to show for it. So we switched over to the next paper.
All right, then from the Punch newspaper, we're going over to the Vanguard. Banner headline here: PDP zones presidency to South. APC won't play fair. On page 5 has riders retains existing zoning arrangement, confirms Damagun national chairman, says APC can't play fair. We didn't microzone leadership positions, Governor Diri. Anyanwu NWC signed letter to INEC zoning for November convention. Okay, I'm going to take that part again. Anyanwu NWC signed letter to INEC for November convention. Enugu Plateau, Taraba governors not defecting to APC. Mohammed, a zoning presidential ticket to South. Too late. Wike's aide tells PDP. Above the nameplate of the paper, family Lagos hospital clash over patients withheld remains. ICU charges on page 24. 5 journalists among 20 killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza hospital. This is on page 8. And of course, Okigwe massacre. Please go after assassins on page 11. Crisis looms and varsities over salary structure review on page 8. Ogudu Ifako Bridge. Gridlock persists despite suspension of work on page 10. A State of the Nation, Minister Ezekwesili. Clash at NBA confab. The rider protest rocks confab over alleged political imprisonment of Enugu lawmaker on page 8. Also, Lula welcomes Tinubu to Brazil. This is also a major story on the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, that very headline that says Ezekwesili clash with a minister at Enugu NBA confab. When I saw that very headline, I had to rush to go and read to know the kind of clash. And I couldn't help myself but blaming newspapers for the way they cast their headlines. It's all about people differing, people making different views about the state of the nation, and there was no clash there. Okay, let's get to the Guardian newspaper. We have the banner headline says 2027. Atiku signals interest as PDP heads for showdown with Tinubu. The story is on page 6. Above the nameplate, U.S. defends new social media vetting for visa applications is on page 2. Family laments poor emergency response as woman dies in Lagos Lagoon crash. 795 financial institutions among 1,369 firms facing data breach probe is on page 5. Not too clear. Tony, I don't know if you saw that story that Fishaya Shoyumbo put out some days ago, where he said they were able to get the NIN of the Minister of Interior, and after he said that, he gave a link through which they got the NIN or the Minister of Interior, saying that data of Nigerians are not secured with NIMSI. And after that, I think within 48 hours or 24 hours, he reported that their website was attacked and he accused government agency for doing that. Let's move on. We are going to get to that. And then this very story says Southwest leads in new voters exercise as Southeast record lowest turnout. It's on page 3. FG introduces mandatory ethics criminal screening for teachers. ICPC recovers 1.1 billion from Kano official as state dismisses claim. Another headline says manufacturers lament as return of FOB levy causes stir. Tinubu seeks stronger Nigeria-Brazil ties, inks Basa deal. It is this Basa deal that Bayananuga was trying to announce, and the way he crafted his statement, he's mentioned specifically that the Air Peace is going to benefit from the direct flight between Nigeria and the Brazil. People were asking, why Air Peace? Is Air Peace the only one who is going to benefit from that very direct flight? And guess what? People are already saying Igbos are against the president, whereas he's doing things to benefit them. That's why Igbo is trending on X this very morning. And then look at this headline that says NDLEA boss drug cartel that framed Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. When I saw this story yesterday, I screamed. So we now have drug cartels or drug peddling syndicates who connive with airport staff to put illicit substance in travelers' bag, and you travel not knowing that contraband things are in your bag until when you get to the destination, when you are searched, and they will find something on you. In Asaka, Nemaroko Sueme, Aka about 5 Nigerians now are there in Saudi Arabia arrested because somebody planted something in their bag unknown to them, and it's quite sad. So these are the stories we have on the Gather newspaper.
I've been trying to make sense of that kind of arrangement because usually when they have arrangements for these trafficking to happen, they have people waiting over there to pick up from where the convener or the conveyor now, the person who carries it from Nigeria, stops. And so I am just wondering, was it sort of a trafficking gone wrong? Or was their intention to frame these people up? I don't know if you get my point. Is it a case of these people probably getting caught before they were able to also step in and take what they put in their bags? Or a case of these people doing it because they want to get Nigerians into trouble? I really would like to hear this other side of the story when the investigation is concluded, because they are two different things, and we really need to know what exactly we are dealing with, and of course why. But from the Guardian newspaper, we are going to this day, and some of the headlines you'd find here. Jonathan Obi PDP as party's next zone's presidency to South. Wike has been vindicated, says Media Aid. Damagum confirmed substantive national chair. These stories are on page 9. Tinubu in Brazil, President Bola Tinubu with that's the photo from that meeting with the president of Brazil, Luiz Lula da Silva, during the president's official state visit to Brazil yesterday. Also on the This Day newspaper, in 1 week, Inex Online pre-registration hits 1,379,342. The story is on page 28. At Maiden African CDS Summit, Tinubu pushes for new African defense doctrine, canvasses CDS forum to tackle terrorism, cybercrime, and transnational crimes, explains why African nations must invest in cyber defense, AI. And of course, you'd find this story on page 9 of the This Day newspaper. Above the nameplate of the paper, Israel strikes, kill Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera, all the journalists in Gaza. On page 9, NUPRC, Nigeria's crude oil production rose 10% year on year to 1.71 million barrels per day. In July, the writer, NNPCL's Ojulari, says syndicates exploit security gaps to steal Nigeria's oil. This story is on page 9 of This Day newspaper.
Alright, so these are the headlines we have this very morning on these newspapers, and of course we have to begin the conversation in a moment.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Of course, we are listening to the Polity, and it's time for us to begin today's conversation, driven by the headlines we have read out from the various newspapers. My name is Franklin and Chisom, Olisa Mbeki. All of us are together for this very conversation. Quickly dash to our Facebook page for your reactions, and don't forget that. Okay, let me say this. So sometimes that is this very mistake we do make when we're making our comments, because you have the right to freedom of speech does not mean that you speak in a manner or you write in a manner that is going to offend the sensibility of some person. So I ask you, when you write, please write decently. We are going to acknowledge your post on that very page. Okay, so we'll begin with the biggest story, which of course has captured the attention of all the newspapers. The outcome of PDP NEC meeting that happened yesterday. And let's take it from the version which was reported by Guardian newspaper. It says, in a move that could prove either a masterstroke or a miscalculation, the People's Democratic Party yesterday threw down the gauntlet to President Bola Tinubu by zoning its 2027 presidential ticket to the south, the same region that produced the incumbent. The party also retained its national chairmanship in the north in what leaders describe as a strategy to strengthen internal balance and reposition the opposition party ahead of the next general elections. The decision formed part of the far-reaching resolutions adopted at the end of the party's 102nd National Executive Committee NEC meeting, which was held yesterday in Abuja. The meeting confirmed Iliya Umaru Damagun, who has served in an acting capacity since 2023 as the substantive national chairman of the party, until the party's national elective convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan State. According to a communique issued by national spokesperson of the party, Debo Ologunagba, the NEC unanimously adopted the report of its zoning committee, which retained all national offices in their current regions, while expressing zoning the presidency to the south. The party also directed each region to commence micro-zoning oppositions ahead of the Ibadan convention. And then one of the highlights of the meeting was NEC received update from the Constitutional Amendment Committee and directed that draft proposals be circulated to state chapters and party organs for wider consultation. People are saying, of course, PDP is showing signs that it's trying to see if it can recover from the crisis that bedeviled it ever since it lost out in the governance of Nigeria at the federal level. But the one that happened yesterday, we have seen different reactions, and some persons are reacting. APC reacted saying that this is a wide good chase. Of course, the horse died long time ago. That's what the APC is saying. Then for Lelo Olayinka, who works with the Minister of the FCT, he said, this is coming rather too late because the train had long left the station. Now, but some other persons are saying that PDP seems to have realized the mistake they made in 2022, and they appear to have found a new nerve to right the wrongs of the past and then maybe correct the mistakes of 2025. But one wonders what this bodes for the party, whether it's going to give it any scratch in the nearest future or just make it to wait more before it can get back to power. Now, the question is it too late for the PDP, having zoned the presidency ticket to the south, which we know in the last election it was one contentious issue that, of course, put PDP in disarray. Now it has said we are going south. No more beating about the bush. Categorical. This is where we are going to. So is it too late for the PDP? Or can we say that they are making progress in the process of rebuilding this very party, Tony?
I have listened to different opinion on this issue, and then I've been also enjoying the comments I get. Anybody can make comments and everybody can make statements. Everybody know what is going on. There is no doubt. Remember that this zoning system of PDP, the PDP's newfound embrace of zoning, is presidential ticket to the south in fact, reeks less of principle than of opportunistic atonement. I know that a lot of comments have been made in the past, though it is a belated genuflection before a convention the party itself once desecrated with reckless abandon. What we are witnessing is not foresight but insight masquerading as vision. This zoning declaration, cloaked in the rhetoric of equity, is nothing more than a subtle sentiment, an attempt to launder a tarnished reputation with the detergent of regional appeasement. A serious political party would enshrine zoning as a binding creed, not deploy it as a desperate stratagem after electoral humiliation. The PDP has for years trafficked in equivocation on rotation. They do so many things, but at the same time they will not commit to it. They have jettisoned zoning when it was expedient. For me, such vacillation is not statesmanship. It is a political mendicancy, the way I view it. No doubt, by suddenly discovering zoning in 2025, the party merely underscores is intellectual bankruptcy, in fact, moral cowardice. They have not for once, let's go back to history. PDP has not come out in the open since 1999 to say we are going this way, we are zoning this way. It has been something more of informal arrangement that is not codified, that is not contained in any policy document. Yes, they have this issue of rotation in their constitution, go north, go south, and all that, but they have not, for once, arising from a neck meeting and get it pronounced. I would let you know the meaning of this, because this zoning for me means quite a lot. This zoning is a parachute for Mr. President to fly higher. There is no doubt. Look at these people who are pushing for zoning. They are the same people saying that they will work to deliver President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look at their positions.
Now, who are you referring to? So that let's break it down so that we'll be able to put the analysis proper. Who are you referring to?
The G5. Forget the statement credited to Wike. We have other members of G5 who Wike,
like Autumn.
Many of them.
Okay.
Many of them have been enlisted as nominees for ambassadorial positions. I must let you know that you cannot be saying that we are going to deliver Mr. President. Zoning is the shortest way to deliver Mr. President. You know why? The Mr. President fear is not necessarily from the southern part of the Nigeria. If he has any fear at all, it's from the north. And where PDP has now decided to cascade the ticket to the south, where it is not a threat for Mr. President, what does that risk? It is an expressway for Mr. President to coast to victory. The handwriting is well written. So who would come from the south? The only person that will challenge Mr. President must have the backing of the north. Must have the backing of the north. So if you are coming from the south without substantive backing from the north, it will be very difficult. And even if you think, oh, Mr. P2B, he is still working out certain arithmetics to see how he would get that backing, which is now not even evident. But Atiku will like to write on this northern sentiment that we have been disenfranchised, we have been neglected, we have been abandoned. They know how to preach the message, they know how to circulate it and call on their brothers to do one thing. So the point is, this is a political calculation. Look at the neck endorsing Damagun and then saying the chairmanship goes back to North. And even when the South has been crying for this chairmanship, when the North had the candidate of the party, the South was saying, give us the chairmanship back, because the North, before 2023 general election, had the chairmanship, had this candidate of the party. Did the PDP do that? Why did they wait for so long, for more than 2 years, and suddenly reawaken their issue of spread? So I have seen this as just a pure handwriting on the wall. Since 1999, let me say this. In 1999, when PDP was formed in 1998, then in 1999 presidential election, we saw how candidates, what happened between Obasanjo and the Kweme. It was not a southern thing, it was not zoned to the south. In 2003, likes of Abubakar Rimi from the north and other persons contested against Obasanjo, even when Obasanjo was a sitting president. And when we know that he had this right of first refusal, in 2007, Obasanjo, as a sitting president, did not shut down the doors on the southern part, even when he knew he has chosen, not to succeed his administration, but it was not pronounced the way they pronounced it arising from the NEC meeting. It wasn't done so, and that was why in 2007 election we saw even candidates coming from the south. In 2011, the same thing. In 2015, see, there had never been a time PDP in their history came out openly from a meeting and declare that they have zoned their ticket to this zone or that zone. They have had such arrangement internally.
Well, that is quite understood. I want to take us a few steps back. The time of Eyochayu and eventually how the party was destabilized. Zoning to the south now, you are saying that there is a problem with that because the Magum shouldn't stay on as a national chairman of that party. If he goes to the south, won't it be having the same complication that led to the instability that they are struggling right now, or they are suffering right now?
I think, just like I said earlier on, if you had listened to me, I said when this was expedient,
I understand what you're trying to say.
They turned their face down.
Exactly. Now, I understand what you're trying to say. So it happened in the past and it is wrong and they looked the other way.
Yeah.
Now, if we let it happen again, that's my question. Would we not be going back to the same problem that they are still suffering from right now?
It is too late. In fact, we
is
know.
It ever too late
you
to
know
do
why?
The right thing?
The thing is not about doing the right thing. It's not about doing the right thing. The party can do their calculation, but their calculation for now is not to win the next election. Parties' calculation are geared towards winning an election.
Okay, so
how would this zoning now makes it possible for them to win election?
Okay, so
it
Tony,
is even something that
Tony, what would you have wanted PDP to do, knowing that since 2015 till date, the issue of zoning has driven PDP into a crisis? And I want to just take you back a bit. In 2015, the northern members opposed former President Goodluck Jonathan.
Thank you.
Insisting that the presidential ticket should be turned to their region so that they will be able to complete their tenure. But PDP chose otherwise. They gave it to Jonathan and he contested, and we saw how that revolt contributed to the party's defeat by the All Progressive Congress. Then you go to 2023. The same thing came up again, and we saw 5 governors led by Wike, alongside some other PDP members. They opposed that very situation, because what we had last time was former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, insisting on taking a shot, and from there Wike led some persons. They revolted, and we know how that very election panned out. Now we are coming to 2027. Whether PDP wants to return to power by 2027 or part of their rebellion process, what would you have wanted them to do if you think that the way they have gone about this very zoning isn't a good political masterstroke or isn't a good step in the right direction?
Just like I said earlier on, zoning, is it anchored on appeasement or anchored on winning election? You must factor it. This zoning, on what ground are you situating it? Are you situating this zoning to win election or to appease aggrieved members. For me, if you are doing zoning to appease aggrieved members, you are shooting yourself on the foot. Because whatever political calculation or stratagem you've got will be to win the next election. They have made this mistake over time. Just like you said.
So what if PDP has looked inward and seen that they don't have the capacity to win? Then they have chosen to go the way of let's stabilize ourselves and begin from stage to rebuild.
If you want to rebuild, not to, for the idea of being a political party is to win election. That is,
but Johnny,
PDP needs to have stability first.
So now, what they are trying to say, we are throwing 2027 out of our way for us to have stability. Would this guarantee that stability? If you look around, many of them are in APC. So they are trying to do a human job by ensuring that they use PDP platform to deliver the APC candidate to be. And that is why they resorted to what they have done now. I remember in 1999, even when the military, deep within them, had decided to give somebody from Southwest the presidency, they didn't come this way. Because if you look at that primaries that was conducted in Jos, Obasanjo, I remember, got about 1,658 votes. Ekweme got 521 votes. It was that primary where, for some of us that follow the primaries on national televisions, we saw Obasanjo, Ekweme. If we remember that mantra then, even Don Etiebet contested, and I think he had about 106 votes. Graham Douglas, Jim Wobodo, Philip Asodu, even Francis. If we look at this, even when it was intended that it was going to Southwesterner, if you look at 2003, even when Obasanjo was sitting as a president, just like I said earlier on, Barnabas Jimade contested. Barnabas Jimade, who we knew, former PDP national chairman from Benue State, contested. That is North Central. Alex Ekweme again contested. That was in 2003. If you go back by 2007, I'm giving you PDP history. If you go back by 2007, when it was intended, Obasanjo was backing Umara Musa Yar'Adua, Donald Duke, Sam Egwu, Donald Duke, the governor of Cross Rivers at that time, Sam Egwu, governor of Ebonyi State at that time, Ahmed Makrofi, governor of Kaduna State, Jerry Gana, who was former minister as at that time, Buba Maruwa, former military governor, even Leah Luimoke, Gaba, I think Nadama, many of them, even Olusegun Mimiko. Yeah, this were, see, it was even when it was intended. People that contested.
Are you saying that PDP shouldn't have zoned? It should have left it open like it did in last election, or it should have gone to the north?
What I'm saying is this: zoning should be a strategy to win election. So appeasement.
So what do you think should have been their strategy to win the election?
Now, if PDP look around, they must have somebody that will deliver them in mind. And looking around now, the only two persons that can challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in their respective rights. I'm not saying that we win President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I didn't say that. That we challenge him. One, we have Atiku and P2B. These are the two persons that can. But we know Atiku
is out of it.
Yeah, I'm coming. We know Atiku has gone to ADC. If Atiku were to be in PDP, they may not have. I don't know. Now, and then you have that some of them are doing this thing and all that. So the idea is this: what could PDP have done to strengthen itself, not to weaken? Because what they have done is to weaken themselves. But what could they have done to strengthen himself? They are not looking at P2B direction. They are not. But they want to bring in a street urchin from the south that would maybe at the eve of the election withdraw from the election and support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that is what they have just calculated. That's what they have done. And you ask me, is that right? they are not in this context. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That is what you suspect they are planning to do.
That is, you call it, is political analysis, and they have shown that. And I asked a question: those who have voiced out that they will deliver Mr. President, and for PDP to even challenge any election, Damagun has to leave.
But Makinde seems to be pulling all the stones to be able to have the party executive in his favor so that he can get the soft landing. But he has not openly said that he's going to deliver Mr. President.
He hasn't said that. By the time he finishes his work, he will be a minister. By the time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gets a second term. See, look at Sam Anyang, who is a subservient national secretary of PDP to Minister of FCT. Yes, on weekend. Look at Damagon. Look at, these are people that they returned. You return a leadership that Kotos to Wike.
But people you just mentioned now, they are most likely to leave by the time they go for convention in November.
They will be brought back. The convention is to give them more time. Mark this day.
Because if they're trying to see how they can curtail the influence of FCT Minister Yeson Wike, there's every likelihood that his men might not be getting all those nods at that very convention.
Let me ask you, tell me what Wike has not got, and he goes about it in a provocative manner. He has got everything.
In that NWC now, the only person he probably has on his side as a staunch loyalist is Samuel Anyang.
Then what about Damagun?
Damagun was initially on his side.
He was initially,
but he has done this 360 turn.
Let me tell you something. You are just studying the whole thing from the surface. See, I don't want to go deep down to let you know some things you should know, because this platform is not for things you should do, things like that. I'm just trying to tell you that in that NWC, Wike has majority, and even those who are minorities, he has brought them over. He has compromised them.
If you think he has a majority, so how do we now explain the opposition we have seen against the actions of Wike, and also the actions of Wike against the NWC? Because as we know now, Wike is still plotting on how to ensure that this convention doesn't happen.
Now, one thing about Wike, his statements are strategically positioned. Wike may like you and may come after you. The idea is to deceive those who are gullible. That he may say, I know it doesn't fit to be there. Why would it be there?
No. See, Damagun, he calls him the so-called chairman.
I'm telling you the strategy.
But I don't think if Wike is that refined in word that he says it the way he feels.
I don't even think Wike is that person. He acts the way he feels.
Let me ask you something. That's what you think. Wike will tell you, in politics, there are times he has said so many things and went on to do the opposite. Was this same Wike not vow that he will never support Muslim ticket?
No,
that's something I can go on.
For politics, when interests are aligned, if now let
me ask you something. Why did PDP, why did the NEC endorse the leadership already in place? That's what Wike wanted, and they did it. He had wanted that for PDP to move forward, that the present leadership must be retained. Why didn't they open it up and make appointments? And they say, okay, this present leadership, you've tried your best, you have done better. Let's have another crop of people. We wouldn't want that.
What crop of people? When you say
PDP will not do that, you know why?
Yes. Who do you have in mind?
Okay, sorry, let me add. PDP will not do that because if PDP decides to go and appoint a caretaker committee unknown to the constitution, you are giving your traducers an opportunity to go to court and scuttle everything.
Let me ask you something. Was it not the same Wike that was saying Iyachayu would leave? What was his grouse? His grouse was Iyachayu is from North. That the party cannot have a northern candidate. I'm telling you, even after election must have been conducted, Atiku was not declared winner by INEC. Wike still insisted that Iyachayu must leave.
But Iyachayu himself said he was going to leave.
No, he made a promise. He made a promise that when the candidate emerges, and then this happens, that he was going to leave. It was his personal promise, and his personal promise can be a statement. Now, when after election must have come and gone, why was Wike insisting that Iyorchia will leave? Because Iyorchia wasn't dancing to his tune. Now, when he left, there was need to replace him with a Southern National Chairman, and Damagun stepped in acting capacity. Why did that acting capacity extended beyond the limit? In fact, it was extended many times. And why did the party eventually embrace a Northern again? What was the need for Iyorchia to leave and the Northern replaces him? Does that make sense? Why it happened so was because at a point Wike has gotten Damagun on his own side. That is why he's not shouting. Why didn't Wike keep shouting again? Damagun, you must leave. You are still from the north. Okay. I still repeat what I said earlier on, that we must have a Southern. Why is Wike not saying that we must have a Southern chairmanship? He's
because
saying
they
that
intend to vote to zone to the south, and since they are zoning to the south,
why don't we allow it before the zoning? The election is 2007. We are in
2027.
That's it. And now they have not done it. Why can't they say, you know what? In the interim, hold on. Let me make this statement and then we finish. In the interim, based on why we were suspended and removed Iyorchia, let's get a Southern National Chairmanship. By the time we get into 2027 and our candidate emerges from the north, our candidate emerges from the south, then our national chairmanship will now go to the north.
Isn't that why there's a convention coming up in November? All of these things can evolve.
They did not add it in their next meeting, and you were quick to say what will happen in 2027. You are not quick to say what will happen in December.
So for look of thing, because in politics a lot can happen, because even people you think that they are together today, once there is difference in interest tomorrow, of course it's going to collapse. But once interests are aligned, of course they
why
can go
didn't
to
the NEC suspend Wike for playing anti-politics, anti-party politics? It was at that meeting did they say anything like that?
But Tony, at that point in time, is it NEC that will suspend Wike or his ward? Because if you're going to go to Wike's ward to suspend him, it will be difficult for them to get it done.
Let me ask you something. NEC can, they have overriding power. The highest decision-making body of any party is the Congress, and after the Congress, it is the NEC. After the NEC, it is the NWC. After the NWC, it becomes the zonal level. After the zonal level, the state level. After the state level, the local government level. After the local government level, the ward level. And NEC can suspend anybody from the party without the ward being involved. They have the power. They have overriding power. And they are not looking in that way. Somebody who has openly said that he will use PDP to deliver Mr. President, and is working towards that, and they are clapping for him and also attending to his needs. PDP, well done.
So for you, whatever they are doing now is dead on arrival, because the train had since left the station. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
All right, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Let's go for this very commercial break.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Anambra Patriots for Soludo. APGA ndị Anambra gekwanụ ntị o, unu ekwekwene ka ewere unu wee gbochie ọrụ ọma Chukwu nna Chichas Soludo wee na-arụ na Anambra steeti. Unu makwa na anyụkọ mamịrị ọnụ ọkpụ ụfụfụ. Ngwa bịakọtanụ n'igwe ka anyị kwado nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chukwu ma Chichas Soludo. Unu afụghị ihe niile ọ na-eme na mbara dị iche iche, site na Anambra North, South to Central. Na-ekwu okporo ụzọ niile nke ọrụgo, na-ekwu ụlọ akwụkwọ nke ọ na-emepe, na-ekwu hospital nke ọrụgo. Unu afụgono ka ụmụ nwaanyị anyị si wee na-amụ nwa n'udo free of charge. Ụmụ akwụkwọ wee na-agụ akwụkwọ n'efu. Ihe a niile ya na ihe ndị ọzọ ka Chukwuma Chichas Soludo na-eme na Anambra steeti. A na-ekwusi maka New Government House nke kwuru okwu ya kemgbe 1991, ya bụ 34 years na ya na Soludo arụgharịghị ya. Kedu maka New Solution Fund City? Nwanne m Soludo nọ n'ọrụ. Ndị Anambra ọrụ ọma ama nkwụkwọ agụ, bịanụ n'igwe ka anyị kwado nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chukwuma Chichas Soludo. Anambra Patriots for Soludo.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
To the polity. Get involved now.
Alright, so thank you for staying tuned to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Of course, you are listening to the Polity. My name is Franklin and Olisa Mbeki, and the Chisom Chinedol of us were together on this very conversation, and it's been heated about what happened yesterday at the PDP NEC meeting. And apart from the fact that the party has zoned the party ticket for 2027 presidential election to the south, another thing that is we should take note of is the fact that PDP has made a move to amend its constitution. So we don't know what is being amended and how it's going to favor the reform they are undergoing, or how it's going to scuttle it. Okay, so that is, by the time we get to know what they are amending, of course we can put analysis on that very one. But let's go to what happened in Imo State, because 4 days after that very incident, the governor of Imo State has finally spoken, and likewise police too, because in the whole of the time that all these things were happening, police kept mute until yesterday, when police now spoke and confirmed that, of course, a couple of persons were killed in that very incident. And of course, let's begin with the police. What police said yesterday. The police commander yesterday confirmed that they had deployed the tactical team to Ajanomuna, Eznachi, Nokigwelhu government area of Imo State, following the gruesome killing of 5 people by unknown assailants. The command spokesperson confirmed the incident in a statement. He said that incident actually occurred on August 22nd, 2025 at about 10:30 p.m. According to the police PRO, members of a local security team and villagers were among those killed. The assailant also set ablaze the residence of the youth security leader and destroyed several motorcycles. According to the police, they have moved swiftly, and then they were able to evacuate the victims to General Hospital in Okiwe, where they were confirmed dead on arrival. And he said one survivor is currently receiving medical treatment. According to police, 5 persons were killed, and one of those persons killed is a member of the youth security team. And since then, people have been reacting about what has been happening in Imo State, because before the incident on Friday, there was one that happened about I think on Wednesday, and we have seen that very reaction. But yesterday, the governor of Imo State finally spoke through the Commissioner for Information, Declan Melumba, where he said the government is working in synergy with Army, Police, and other security agencies to ensure that they get to bring about security in that very community that has been bedeviled. But the question has been, why this resurfacing of gruesome killings in Imo State? Because at a point in time, there was a time Imo was the hotbed of killings in the southeast. Then military was deployed. It seemed as if we were able to get some respite. But from what happened in the past 1 week, it seems that Imo is getting back to Armageddon. So what can we say is bringing back these gruesome killings in Imo State?
I think Imo State, just like every other part of the southeast, has got its own share. And Okigwe, like many parts of Imo State and the wider southeast region, has unfortunately been a focal point for a series of violent attacks. And we've seen this manifest from time to time. And these issues, I mean, the security incidents in recent years have been really reoccurring. And then I know very well that these attacks are attributed to some of these activities of these unknown gunmen. If you go back to past months, I think sometime around May, there was this I think a gunman ambushed travelers on the Okigbo-Were road, killing at least 30 people and setting ablaze more than 20 vehicles. This happened May this year, and it happened in the early morning, and there was panic and chaos everywhere around that place. If we go back to March 2025, 2 police officers from Mopo 18 were killed along Gariki Road in Okigwe. They were ambushed while on patrol with the attackers. They used dynamite and engaged them in a gun duel. If you go back to the same Okigwe, I think sometime around June, 2 truck drivers were killed and their vehicles set on fire at Ogi Junction in Okigwe sometime around January this year again. The Imo State Police Command conducted an operation that led to the neutralization of 6 suspected members of I don't know what, according to the Imo State Police Command, they called it 6 suspected members of ESN. I think they, according to their release, in Ihube. Ihube is in Okigwe local government area. And 3 of the 6 members, according to the police, were identified as ESN kingpins. So I also remember that Ako, Ako is a community in Okigwe. I know I've seen trending videos about that Ako, where many of them in a military camouflage, they start naming those that have been sponsoring them, how they were given rifle, how they were emboldened, how they were supported, saying that these men that had given them this thing, they are not coming after them, saying that community members were the one that asked them to go and chase the Fulani headers or those killer herdsmen that were invading their communities, that they were supported with rifle, they were supported with guns, they were supported with all manner of things, with the sole duty to chase away these people. But that these people that once gave them money, gave them rifle, gave them this, are turning after them, because according to them, they now started using those things to do and don't do. So we've got so many reports. Even in that Ako, there was a time military invaded that very place, and then the security agents conducted a raid and a search. I know that very operation resulted in this indiscriminate shooting. They had a gun duel where they were plundering, burning of houses, and so many other things. 5 policemen around December 2022 were killed in attack. They were killed in an attack in Omunna. Omunna is still in Okigwe. So why I'm going deep memory lane is to let you know how hot that place had been. It has not been an easy place. Just like I said, there had been time. In fact, most times military or police or security agents will go there for a search. It usually resulted in a gun duel. And sometimes the last that happened sometime around December 2022 resulted in the killing of about 5 policemen. So there was a time we thought that these things have come down. But the trending videos we are seeing, we are the perpetrators. They are not hiding themselves these days. In most of these videos, putting on military camouflage, saying quite a lot. I think there was a one where one of them, by name, I can't remember his name again, killed his followers, saying that he never asked them to extort.
I think it's called Julius.
What's them again?
Julius.
I can't remember his name. But I watched the video that he never instructed his followers to extort from the villagers or from the community people. That their instruction was to go after the terrorist invaders. But they did otherwise. And he shot how many of them? He shot them.
3.
3 of them. So we've seen these disturbing videos. And many of them claiming that nothing, anybody that comes with anything here. In fact, I've seen videos where they will be telling the military administrator in Burkina Faso, calling on Donald Trump, and most times even Vladimir Putin. In fact, the last of the videos I watched, one of them was asking Donald Trump that they love him, that his work in United States of America is appreciated, that he should also appreciate them by supporting them. In fact, there was also another video I watched, I think maybe it could be the same video, where they were hailing the military administrator in Burkina Faso, I think Traore, saying that he's doing marvelous, he's doing excellently well, that they're in support of what he's doing. that if there's a way he can also support them. See, we've seen these things from time to time. And the most importantly is this. If you look at some of these killings, some of these maiming, we are, I think, at a point we cause some of these things. We have to be honest.
Okay, so I'll come to that. Now, but let's look at the reaction of the state government and the police. Like I mentioned initially, that the first one happened on Wednesday last week, second one happened on Friday, and it took police a couple of days till yesterday to issue statements, even confirming the number of persons who were killed. It was that same yesterday that the government of Imo State issued a statement, commiserating with those who lost their lives, saying that they had deployed this, they have done that, they are on the situation, working to ensure that normalcy returns. But that silence we witness, is it a sign or an indication that the government is overwhelmed and perhaps the police has run out of ideas? That's number one. And then what does that do to the psyche and the confidence on the people? Because in that time of trouble, when people are being killed, the police is silent, government is silent, even to speak to them, to tell them what to do, or to offer respite, telling them this is what we are doing, and everybody kept mute. What could be the impact of that on the psyche and confidence of the people in that very area?
Devastating impact. Devastating impact. And we have said many times, we haven't seen demonstration of strong intent for us to have security in this country. And we have called, why can't we have local government police? I had thought that we will go to issue of Mr. President's visit to Brazil. We had planned to ask a lot of questions if we could replicate some of the things Brazil has been doing as a country. But maybe if we have time, we'll go into that. But the key thing is, federal policing system as presently constituted will not solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria. We have not seen change of structure, change of pattern, change of tactics in solving insecurity. We've not seen that. Using the same method to solve an expanding problem, hoping to get a better result, according to one of the philosophers, he said that is the height of insanity. We have seen many places unpoliced, many spaces left in the hands of non-state actors, where they do pontificate their distress reign. They unleash terror in these ungoverned spaces, and all we could do is to do guerrilla form of conducting operation. After you conducted that operation that very day, are you going to still live there? Because you are going to leave, and they will come back, they will regroup. See, I have said many times, we must have local government policing system. We are talking about Okigo. Okigo is a local government. It has many communities. It has Ako. It has Ajomun. There's so many of them. If I can remember them.
Now, see, this local government policing, what difference would it make when we already have vigilantes already existing, and these vigilantes are funded by the state government? Let's even use a number, for instance, where we have Agone Chamber, which was established by a law known as Homeland Security Law of Anambra State of 2025. And this very law gives so much power to this very Agone Chamber for them to be able to help in security of this very state. Now we're now extending to Imo State. Now, if you look at the number of vehicles that the governor gave to this Agone Chamber, not less than 120 vehicles.
Yeah.
They have arms, though not as sophisticated as the weapons that police carry. These guys, they have their pump action gun, but police can use AK-47 and the likes. So we have difference in the kind of arms they use. They don't have access to armored personnel carrier and the likes. Just name them. So what we can see now is we can see difference in the ammunition this and that he uses. But in terms of getting support from the state government or local government, we can see that is coming. So if we're going to have this police controlled by the local government, what difference would it make in the security engineering? Or should we focus on the police we have? If we are going to equip the police we have and then decentralize the authority, and let's see the result we can get from there.
Do you know that these unknown gunmen or known gunmen, whichever way you want to describe them, they don't have this fear, especially when they confront these vigilantes. Vigilantes usually have an upper hand against them if there are many. If they round them, maybe they outnumber them greatly. They use their number to overpower these gunmen. But outside their numbers, because the gunmen are well equipped with sophisticated ammunitions. And if you look at it, I don't want to talk about arms here. We know that in a gun duel that could last 1 hour, or brief a pump action. Let's be honest. In a gun duel that could last probably an hour or 40 minutes, or is not something of pump action. So the issue of arms is also important. If they know that these people that are confronting them, they are well equipped with the kind of arms they have, and probably have more numbers, do you think they will stay there? They will not even engage them. They will just run away. That is what they want. They will just simply run away.
Yes.
See, the point remains that local government policing system, we bring numbers, we bring the right arms, we bring proper administration, we bring proper composition, we bring proper training. See, a lot it will bring. So it is important we look in that light. And another thing is, we must not leave any space ungoverned. We must not leave any space unpoliced. Where you have, they allow them, you bust their camps today, and you have some of them that will run away, they will go and start setting up camps somewhere. Progress have been made. No doubt we must appreciate these vigilantes. If you are told the kind of work they have done, that most times if we are shouting at them for their miscreant and then irresponsible act, I will always say, let's also have somewhere in our mind at least to forgive them and possibly find a way to ensure that they will not repeat that again. But if you are told the enormous works they have done so far, in fact, they go places where police cannot even go. They go places, and why police may not want to go there, they do not understand the terrain. And if you have that kind of network or system of these vigilantes, this time around converted to police, where they will be from the town. If you are in my own town, I will know you, know your family, know everything about you, and you must be accountable to us. Is important. At least that familiarity, knowing the terrain, knowing the topography, knowing everything, the valley, the hills, they know all those things, they know possible places these people could hide. See, we cannot disclose everything about security here on air, but the point remains that the present administration at the federal level, the presidency, this after 2 years, we are thought by now we should have local government policing architecture, policing system, where many spaces that have been taken by these people, will find a way to get them back in any kind of support you can give, because there are so many states that may not even have the resources to fund these things. So government can also give them support at that line.
That's one sentiment. Sorry, that's one sentiment I would like us to also look at, because even that sentiment has been there. And this very morning, I saw an article that somebody posted this very morning, lending credence to what some persons have believed. Now, and I'm going to read what he wrote, talking about obituaries. He said, the primary driver of insecurity in the Southeast is the long-lasting belief in marginalization, which has perpetuated a victim mentality. A people who see themselves as marginalized naturally believe they need freedom. And he says, for years, Igbo politics has been fueled by politics of sympathy and victimhood. Every leader rises to prominence on the claim of victimization and marginalization, placing the Igbo situation in Nigeria on external factors rather than intellectual depth and internal responsibility. Now, I also want to pick on this before you come in. He says, in the Southeast, riding on the propaganda of a Fulani invasion, the region has now become worse off than the north-central state of Plateau and Benue, which have endured over a decade of violent clashes with Fulani herders. I warned in the early days that importing the Ambazonian strategy into Southeast will leave the region deserted and abandoned, just like Ambazonia.
That's his opinion. If you look at his opinion, there are points he made which are true. Remember, what triggered, first and foremost, there are two things that triggered this insecurity in the Southeast. You mentioned the issue of marginalization. It wasn't the remote cause. The remote cause, what immediately triggered this insecurity was this feeling that there was this Islamization, and then these terrorists, Fulani headers that are terrorists, not the good ones. They are coming over to take over spaces and things like that. And then even at that time, when these things were raging, we called on the government at different level to take decisive actions, because if you get those things done, it means that you're on top of it. But if you do not do those things, non-state actors may take over, and they were waiting. They did not act promptly. The government at different levels, they were waiting, thinking on what do we do and how do we go about it. Some of them that had worst hit ran to the president to complain, and we are at that point. I was saying, why you run to Mr. President for support? You can as well do something. Many of them did not do anything. Before you know it, the non-state actors took over, and when they took over, I warned that this issue will come back to haunt us. And today, I remember those days. I do go to my town, 11 p.m., 12 a.m. midnight. I remember those days. If you are traveling for Christmas on nature, where the road would be so much congested. In fact, the roads were bad then when it was one lane. There are times we'll be on that road till 1 a.m. midnight, 2 a.m. and nothing would happen. There was security everywhere. Sometimes, for one thing or the other, you may even abandon your cars there and trek home and look for any alternative. And tomorrow, when you come back, you see the same car there. So these things will be obtainable. For those who may not have noticed this, or who may not have known this, it happened even during the Obasanjo regime. And in a way to kill something that perched on our eyes, we ended up blinding ourselves. That is exactly the case. We ended up blinding ourselves. And now, look at some of the videos I have watched. Are these videos telling the truth that some communities funded these non-state actors to protect them against these invaders? And they supported them, they gave them money, they gave them rifle, they purchased. That's the video. It's trending on social media. And at the end of the day, when you give somebody a rifle, how then do you collect it back from the person?
Tony, let me come in here, please. I've been trying to do this. I've been wondering. I've actually been wondering what happens when you juxtapose these two. Because initially, you were speaking about community policing, or local government policing, like you called it, which I like to think is international practice. You go to other parts of the world, it's obtainable. And so one would have thought that since we've been trying to find what we can adopt to make our home better, it is one of the things we could have adopted long before now. I recall the Rasanya report also had that headline, and when President Bola Tinubu came on board, he said he would make it materialize. Well, here we are, 2 years and months counting, we have not had anything concrete said about local government policing or community policing as it is here in Nigeria, whatever peculiarities we might want to adopt. But I'd like to ask you, what is different from community policing and what these communities tried to do? I recall when we had a conversation about the local vigilantes that we have in different areas in Anambra State. We were told that there are vigilante operators that are paid by community, by the residents of a community. The ones who are operating within estates are paid by the people who live in the estates. Now, the point is, that is already a decentralization of security. While we might not already have it itemized in the law, this is the practical that we live in. This is the reality that we live in. The people are already paying, for security to get down to them. Right. And so I want to understand where we drifted off with these non-state actors, the people who paid them to become their security operatives. To what end? And does it mean that they didn't know the difference between non-state actors now becoming security operatives and getting in real security operatives to operate in their local domains?
And let's quickly say this because of time. We look at what we have. It may come under the umbrella of state police or state security. In Anambra State, we have state security. You can't call them state police because we have only one police. And under that state security, you have the Agone Chamber, right?
Yes.
At the state level, you have them at the local government level, you have them at the community level.
Definitely.
That is what we
have.
Down
to streets.
By the time you have state police, you have police at the state level, police at the local government level, police at the community level. That is the difference we may want to maybe want to have. So going back to what people did, people were defenseless. People needed security, and there was this propaganda. Remember those days? Yes, there were attacks by killer headers. They were attacking communities in the southern part, in the northern part. They were attacking communities everywhere, and nobody is only a tree that we hear. You be caught and stay idle and watch being caught. And that was when people transferred this authority to these non-state actors, when they had waited for government to act, and government failed to act, and government was looking at the political implication this could cause. And that was why many of them ran to Mr. President for either advice or support, and quit never materialized into anything. And communities, knowing what was going on in some other places, communities, they now decided to go orthodox, or unorthodox rather, to bring in these people. And remember, now many of these communities cannot control these people. But if we have had a kind of a systematic security architecture where the amendment of section 214 will be done, where state can be allowed to have their own police. If you allow state to have their own police, they have powers to make law for the local government and then the communities. So he wants to give the state power to get police. They will make laws for the local government and the communities where these police will be deployed. And one thing is that they will be prosecuting. I did not add that. Remember, vigilantes cannot prosecute. So whatever they go all out to do, they will hand over to the police. And if you go there, issue of justice administration becomes a problem. But if you have a local government police, if you have a state police, community police, they will prosecute right in the court.
Right.
In my homeland court. In my country homeland
let's
court.
quickly chip in this, talking about the update that the INEC gave yesterday regarding the pre-registration of voter registration. Because yes, the INEC issued a statement saying that as of yesterday, by the end of the pre-registration for 1 week, that INEC was able to get a figure of 1,379,342 Nigerians who completed the online pre-registration process in the first week of the continuous voter registration exercise, which happened between August 18 to 24, 2025. Of course, yesterday being 24th of August, that was the day that INEC officially commenced the voter registration. So you can now go to INEC state office or local government office for you to register. Now, INEC is now saying that if you look at the breakdown, Osun State recorded the highest number of registration, followed by Lagos State. Osun State recorded 393,269 registrants. Then Lagos followed with 222,205 entries. Then you go to FCT. But before FCT, you go to Ogun State. Before FCT, go to Ogun State. Ogun State had a strong turnout with 132,823 pre-registrations. Then you go to the FCT. FCT has 107,000 plus. But where I'm going to, I just want us to look at what we have in the southeast here. If you go to the southeast, where you have Ebonyi State recorded 261 individuals registering, and then Enugu and Imo recorded the 484 and 481 respectively. Abia only added 772, while for Anambra wasn't listed on that very distribution. And the people are asking questions: is it that the Southeast is not interested in what is going on, or it's just like this has been the way the Southeast behave when it comes to voter registration?
We know we have voters apathy mostly here in the Southeast for obvious reasons. There are so many reasons why we have voters apathy and non-registration. There are so many people that do not believe in election in the Southeast for obvious reasons. They will tell you because the system is corrupt, the system is this, that my votes will not count and things like this, and will still come back and complain that we are being treated this way, are being treated that way. You can't be here and here. You can't have your one leg on the other side, have the other leg on the other side, waiting for the unthinkable to happen. And I don't know. And most times we disenfranchise ourselves unnecessarily for no just reason. And we have said it many times that your number matters in everything. Because if you're saying that you're up to this, what happens that figures we say, really, if you're up to that? So why we are treated, the way we are being treated is because of us not coming out in things like this. It is affecting Southeast. North Central has woken up long before now. South has woken up. And they are ahead of Southeast politically. Why are these regions ahead of Southeast? Because of the numbers. Before now, we are counted amongst equal? Are we counted now? Presently, since APC took over, you see where Southeast has been relegated to. If you blame APC from now till their kingdom come, you also have to blame Southeast for the kind of politics they're playing. So it's really, really affecting us. Sometimes we don't show up where we need to show up and then make a point with our figures. We have population here. Look at many Igbos in the Lagos. Do you know, in fact, I keep saying this, the Igbo ethnic nationality, for me, may be, when it comes to population, numbers, they may be number one. Because if you count Lagos, you count them. If you count Kano, you count them. If you count Kaduna, everywhere you count them. Even Cameroon, you count them. Even Ghana, you count them. Everywhere you count them. They're everywhere. So, have we made these numbers count for us politically? The answer is no. What are we doing about it? We are not doing anything. And that's the essence of this program. The need for us to do things the way we should do it. Even if you are gunning for this, yeah, there's something you need to go with you. And the numbers.
All right, so you can call in now 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Later in the program, we find a time to talk about the agreement Mr. President signed with Brazil. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Badmos Onoha from Newu.
Go on, Mr. Badmos.
Good. Let me go to INEC distribution of voters cards.
Excuse me, sorry, hold on. Nothing like voter card distribution.
But to talk about the election here.
No, I mean if you're talking about pre-voter registration, not
exactly,
distribution card.
That is where I want to go.
All right, go on.
Let me tell you, when Obasanjo was the president, Igbos were active. We were active in politics. That is why they gave us Senate president. You understand? So what happened was when all this, people don't want to talk it. When all this Biafra propaganda that started with Owazurike then, that was when Igbos started having issue. You understand? So where we are today in politics, where they have relegated the Southeast in politics today, happened as a result of all this Biafra propaganda and all this. They are the ones, because they will use marginalization and anybody that you... And the main problem is that our politicians are not playing their card very well. So there is a space for all these non-state actors to come and use Biafra propaganda to come into the mind of the people. Then before you know what is happening, they will take over the system and they will mess up everything. Then they will left. Another person will come again with Biafra propaganda. Before you know what is happening, we are where we are today. You understand? So that's the problem. Had it been that our politicians play their politics very well, don't give any room for all this Biafra propaganda to come and mess up the Southeast. Because as it stands now, we have been relegated completely. South is ahead of us, and if we continue like this, there will be a time that even the speaker or even deputy speaker will not be given to us because we are depleted. Those that are in Lagos, they will vote in Lagos. Those that are in Kano, they are people of Kano.
Okay.
So Southeast is empty. Southeast is empty.
All right, thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, go on.
Okay, Odaze. Good morning, house. Good morning, my lady.
Yes, good morning, we can hear you.
Good morning, this beautiful morning, my friend, Franklin. Just what registration in the Southeast? I think we've made time to try to talk to our people. It's becoming embarrassed. Yes. Now, despite the political bigwig, we alluded to Hope Uzodinma. He has lived below expectations as regards protection of life in his domain. He needs to rejig his security outreach. There has been a lot of bloodletting in Imo State since we started unknown herdsmen, unknown gunmen, unknown terrorists and all that. We can't just keep talking and people are dying. It's not fair. For the PDP, well, Mr. Chief Tony Olisa Mbeki, you added so much power to Mr. Wike. I don't know why you keep doing that. You're making him a demigod. Despite all, this Wike really win those 23 elections. Truth must be told someday. Wike is not capable of winning any election. Even if INEC and whatever you have said he's won. And we must keep backing him a demigod. Sometimes, the way you present President Tinubu to sweep the entire South, and all that,
All right.
gets me scary. Yeah, your permutation, I wonder where you're getting from and where you're going to get your sweet urchin that will come from South or Southeast or Southeast to sweep the entire South for Tinubu to win. And you forget the land size and population of our kids and kin in the up country, up north.
All right.
You don't
Thank you.
consider that a lot.
Thank you.
And then we're doing Muslim cities, and we said it was going to boomerang, and it's coming to that. Hello, today in Onitsha.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Right.
Good morning.
My speaker told me a very good morning to you.
You're welcome.
And as well to some good
Good
morning.
morning.
My location is coming from Olisa.
Go on.
My speaker talking about insecurity in Southeast. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. There's no need of painting things. The reason why we have insecurity in Southeast is because of the prescription of IPOP. Simple and short. When this is about to happen, if you could remember, Mr. Speaker, I warned. Then you could remember. Don't push these people to the wall. They are not violent, but if you try to stop them, they will turn terrorists to you. I want this. But who give me mouth to talk? You know, they won't even listen to us, we, that is saying this. Now, this is what is happening. If they want to stop the insecurity in Southeast, whether they like it or not, they must remove this prescription, this terrorist of a thing. They must remove it. And secondly, releasing Nandekaru. My speaker, if a man that is going in river, maybe if you are trying to save that man, you that is saving that man is at risk. Because he will be looking for a way to hold anything, thinking that he is saving himself, but not knowing that he's bringing danger, more serious danger to him and the person that is coming to rescue him. That is what is happening to us here. The people you proscribe, they are doing anything that they are doing, thinking that they are saving themselves, but they are bringing danger. But once you remove that river from that particular dwelling man, you understand the danger is out. Then he will now regain his consciousness and know that he is bringing danger. So they must remove IPOP as terrorist group.
All right.
First.
All right. Thank you.
Anything can go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Kay, for joining. Hello. Good morning. Okay, I'll try again. The phone lines are 0803 221 6973 or 0803 827 6694. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
My name is Edwin. I'm calling from Umuji.
Mr. Edwin, go on.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution this morning. To me, you see, we Igbos, we don't use politics as anything. We are businessmen. So that even if Igbo people came masses to come and vote, after everything, is the person that they choose there will be the winner. Our vote will not be count. So no need of us to come and process it for voters or something of that nature. It's best for that person to face his business.
Okay, sorry. Let me hold on. Let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Go and vote for them. Your vote cannot be counted.
Can you hold on?
To go there and vote and rule their ruling.
Okay, let's talk. Can you hear me? Okay, because I wanted to ask if he thinks that this mentality is always the case. Because sometimes we have this very mentality. Let's say we have one election and there are skirmishes and people now use it to generalize. Take for instance, I do ask people, the last gubernatorial election we had in Anambra State, was it free and fair? Do you think that it was the way you voted that the result came out? Then look at other elections, like the one happening in Abia State. Do you think that it was the way people voted that came out? You look at Enugu, do you think? So if there are situations where the way you voted was the way the result came out, so why would you not conclude that there's no need going to vote?
You made a very valid point, Franklin. You asked people in Abia State, did their vote count during the governorship election? You asked people during presidential election in Lagos State, did their vote count in that election where even the president lost Lagos? You asked people even in Anambra State during governorship election, did their vote also count? So you can find instances where you say, oh, our votes counted, and where instances you felt that your vote did not count, I will not participate again. You know who is gaining, and you come back.
Steps back.
You will come back and start crying marginalization because you don't have anything. And if you go on with your business, one government policy will bring your business down. If you are not in government, or if you didn't find yourself to be around corridors of power, just one policy. People don't even understand that power supersedes anything, even wealth.
Now, somebody said that government even has the power to tell you that this your building does not belong to you. Yeah, hello, go on. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Sunday calling from Outer.
All right, go on, Sunday.
Please, I want to talk about issue of security.
Go on.
Security, in what I believe, is not about carrying gun like that we are in war front. Intelligent information. Somebody can see a security man without even uniform, only with ID card, giving information to the people that can go and fight them. This is why you see in Nigeria, people going about with guns here and there. I don't believe on that. And now, don't we say that security, that they have tried a lot. This business security, we see that they are taking into their hands. Because somebody committed something, or maybe abuse somebody, arrest the person like you do yourself, in your own self, and after you torture the person, which you know that don't have the right, and you are saying that they are doing the right thing. If you want to give them money, I will give them 3/10.
Hello, excuse me. I don't think. Hello, Tony did not say that they are doing the right thing. He said, in as much as they have their excesses, but we cannot forget the fact that they have helped us in security management. That's what he said.
But what I'm saying is the developed country, same people with guns, like in one front, intelligent information. Even somebody that is selling a car or doing barrel pusher can give information to the main people that this guy arrest them. But people, you know that the civilians fear security in Nigeria. Fear them. Because you can even see them, they will look at you, say, this place, your face look like a monkey, and they arrest you. Also, do you see that the person will give information to the security authority?
All right. No. All right. Thank you. Tony, quickly, let me say this because recently Donald Trump did something where he mobilized National Guard to go to a certain state in US, even when the governor was saying no. But where I'm going to is this issue of intelligence gathering. We must be honest to ourselves. You see, it's intelligence. It's there for this country, but the thing is it being used? People do not know that there are some persons you might see as suya sellers. They are not actually suya sellers.
Exactly.
People do not know. There are people who are there gathering intelligence, but the thing is, when they get this intelligence, are they being used? That is the question.
I think I have to also let the caller know that when it talks about components of good security, yes, intelligence, as you rightly mentioned, but it must also have sophisticated weapon and technology. Because even if you have the intelligence and to go and conduct raid where those people are situated, you won't go with inferior ammunition when you know they have a superior ammunition.
Why don't you even act on the intelligence that we have been given?
That is another one. And most times,
political correctness.
Apart from political correctness, most times you don't act on intelligence if you look around what you're going with is inferior with what you are going to confront. What do? You try to find a way to chip in, and there are those who are also sabotaging the whole exercise.
So what happens to all of that money that we budget year in, year out for security operators?
You must have Tony, hold on. Just please take notes. Take notes. Okay. Let me take some calls. Take notes.
All right.
What happens to the money? Yeah. Hello. Good morning. Okay. Try again. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, what's happening? Okay. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Franklin and Chisom. Actually, good morning.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Mr. Ezekiel, speaking from Onitsha.
Go on.
My speaker, let me dwell on insecurity in the Southeast and the trending video that is going on. My speaker, are you aware that the environment is close to the environment where the former Methodist village ransom was paid and army checkpoint has been there, even as a talking to you, it is there. Are you getting it? So, what is difficult for them to secure those who are doing it? If I thought they are sincere. Are you getting it? So I'm thinking there's a lot of compromise on our security apparatus, both state and federal. If they are serious to stop that, the public made an allegation that it was here about 100 million that was paid in cash at the back of the army checkpoint, and that is where they cover cost. And if you watch that thing, that place was the point. There's like a bush. I don't know who cleared it. Are you getting it? So what I'm saying is that let us be serious and honest with ourselves. If you listen to the information of Ebuka, where he says he's tired of his tribe being profiled as Fulani men. Are you getting it? Let us at the same time come up to speak so that those who are involved with insecurity, that environment, I'm telling you, that act on they don't go home. Those who will inside, they don't go home. If you actually go home for something, you must run away, either give money or the guys live somewhere else.
Okay.
And yet, we are not talking about it. Let us do ourselves and discover those who are actually involved. Like somebody said, can the Southeast come together and talk about this hyper prosecution and use upon Nandikano? Because these things are not too far from what is happening down here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling. So for now, we'll go for a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Your quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Opa Chitane Dosialo. Wendy's bread, Mama Papa they like Wendy's bread, that Chitane Nyanduo. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your bachichoma. Wendy's bread,
Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Misha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Hooray! Football is alive again in Onitsha. One Nibonyegu, one Nimekegu, Egwekere Football Street Championship. My guy, come rep your street. Come show the world that your street has got the best talent in town. Egwekere Football Street Championship. Egwekere Football Street Championship is a football tournament to be played among different streets of Onitsha. Winners will take home 1.5 million naira. I repeat, 1.5 million naira. So what are you still waiting for? Call this number
0806-391-5257
for your registration and further inquiries. Registration runs from 1st to 30th of August 2025. Special thanks to our headline sponsors, Winners Global Estate Limited, and our media partners, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Egwekere Football Street Championship. Ball over. Na do da.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
All right, thank you for staying tuned to that radio 104.7 FM. You are listening to the Polity, and we have to quickly dash our Facebook page. Let's get to see your comment before we get to wrap up today's conversation.
All right, then it's Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and of course, you can drop your comment right there under the live video. And of course, we have a number of comments here. Let's start. All right, I'm trying to load the comments. Somehow they went off. I'm going to try to do this another way. Let's start with yours. Young Elder, we see you. I'm seeing one winter. We see you as well. Also, Francis Ndamani. He says, PDP zoning presidency to the south is a welcome idea. However, the party should do more to pacify most of their aggrieved members ahead of 2027 general elections. Also, he thinks that the National Assembly and other appropriate authorities should do everything possible to reform our electoral process to enable our votes count. Cardinal Chris Ugochukwu, he says he's reacting on the headline of Southeast being the least on voter registration. How can we balance the fact that only one working machine was given to each ward with so many people queuing up for days to register, yet at the end, no hope? I had first-hand experience on this, so it's not just assumptions. Calls were made, promises to add more machines were given, yet we've not seen any until the end of this last voter registration in Anambra. Emma Olebara, she's contemplating scrapping the local government because this government doesn't abide by rule of law and the fear of God. Why should a government that is for the people at the grassroots be scrapped? Is it not as a result of failed and directionless leadership? Because the advent of this leadership, local governments have been vibrant and lively, but today, she said before the advent of this leadership, local governments had been vibrant and lively, but today it's a shadow of itself. Is it not a shame that a government that is supposed to be autonomous and subsequently maintain financial autonomy is emasculated by same governors or some state governors, and federal government is keeping mute? I like to think that something must have gone wrong before this emasculating happened. Probably if the local governments were delivering at the grassroots level as expected, this even the people wouldn't have just sat back to see this happen without an uproar. Mbechiobi says, I want to talk about PDP zoning their presidential ticket to south. My brother Tony has said it all. PDP is not fighting to win the presidential election. Ugochukwu Frank, like I said prior, Atiku's power ambition will derail the coalition. Same way Atiku out of desperation, an illegal fixation on becoming the president, by all means necessary, destroyed PDP when the topic for rotation came up. Atiku opposed the power sharing rotation formula it has to the north and south. Instead, Atiku chose to contest all the time. Mazin Warrior Chikwa Durham, he says PDP zone 2027 presidential ticket to southern region of the country. How sure are we, or what assurance are the PDP giving to the masses that they can stand on their decision? Because we all know what played out in 2023 presidential election when the issue of zoning was said to be southern candidate, and later on it was thrown open for everyone to participate. Concerning the killing in Umunachi village in Okigwe, Imo State, it's so barbaric, and our security personnel are not even taking care of that incident. May God help us.
Okay, so we have to take it from there. So Tony, let's round off with this very story about the air service agreement BASA that Nigeria signed with Brazil to deepen economic, cultural, and diplomatic ties between the two countries. This was announced yesterday because we know the president is in Brazil for a 2-day visit, and they have saying that is going to help Nigeria to have a direct flight from Nigeria to Brazil, and it's going to have business and trade.
For me, the direct flight from here to Brazil isn't the major problem we have in this country. I had thought that Mr. President would go and ask Brazilian authority, how do you conduct your elections? To situation whereby after the elections, people votes usually count. Brazil uses electronic voting system nationwide since 1996. Results are known within hours, which drastically reduced ballot snatching, voter rigging, and court disputes. And if you also look at those that conduct election in Brazil. How do you appoint the electoral system? Because I'm aware that the electoral system in Brazil, they are not appointed by Mr. President. The Supreme Court will do secret election, secret ballot system, where they will elect their own members. The Federal Supreme Court, the Superior Court of Justice will do their. These are people that conduct elections. Do you see how these people will first and foremost come together, do secret balloting system, where they will bring a particular number, Supreme Court usually 3, and then Supreme Court of Justice usually 3 or 4 other courts. They bring people. These are the people, justices, they are the ones not appointed, not selected by the Chief Justice, not selected by anybody. These are the people that come together to conduct this election for Brazil. So we must get our recruitment process right. And if you look at Brazil and Nigeria share a lot of similarities. There are so much we need to learn from Brazil. The Basa agreement, fine and good, but that is not a major thing. Look at where they are in terms of GDP. Look at where they are in terms of Human Development Index. Look at where they are in terms of per capita. Look at where they are in terms of everything. And they have become the commercial hub of the entire Southern America. So there are so many things. I believe if I were Mr. President, I'll ask them, how did you get here? How were you able to do this? Pick up those things. There's so much for us to learn from Brazil. Not exactly signing these Basa arrangements. We have insecurity here. Do you know how they have a kind of structured policing system? You have federal police, you have state police, you have local community police. They have those things there. Why can't we get some of these things in our own climate?
All right. So maybe you have the answer why we can't get those things here in the country.
Well, politically, we have a lot of madness in the system. I think that death in the political system is one of the reasons. And until we stop politicizing a lot of things, unfortunately, the reality we live in would only deteriorate further.
All right, so thank everybody of you for joining today's conversation. Maybe I should join Black Magic to say that better. Should I say that?
Maybe.
All right. Thank you all for listening. My name is Franklin and Ebuka. Good morning.
So you know be free call. Meet you up 5, 6. They get the kind of lyrics I been try to spit. But 7, 8, 9. I wrote this one for you. Thanks for getting me inspired. Move back on